development. Today we'll be covering what web dev is. What is web dev? Well, it's a process of creating websites like a single web page, or creating web apps or games. How do websites work? When you access the internet, you probably use something called a browser like Google Chrome or Safari. These browsers are what we call clients. Clients send and request website files from a server so that they can display the site. What's the difference between client-side and server-side? Well, client-side is the side of the website that you see when you visit sites like Google, Yahoo, or YouTube. Any changes that you make to the client-side web page will make changes to what gets displayed on other devices. Server-side is the side of the website that the server sees. This is where your website files will be located. What is HTML? HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language, and it's used to create and arrange things like text, images, and videos. It's like the foundation of your website, and it's what gets displayed to users.
That's what you're editing, and I'll show you how that works. What is CSS? It stands for Cascading Style Sheets. It's to kind of edit the elements that you added on the HTML file to make it look prettier, right? Like this slide, the example is very bare. There's no font, there's no styling. But with CSS, which is Cascading Style Sheets for short, it makes it look really pretty. And you could also work on like margins, website layout, all that stuff with CSS. And here's an example of how that works. So it looks a lot better than just black and white, right? And so now we have JavaScript. It's used to add functionality and to change the behavior of websites. And so it could be as simple as like a click of a button on the website, right? To make that button work, you have to use JavaScript, right? Or to make it modify something that's on the web page or give you data, you need JavaScript, right? And to get into APIs, which we'll get into later, which is fetching data from another server, you need JavaScript for that. You need Ajax or fetch, but those are both JavaScript things. Some examples, like you could get the time that's stored on your computer using this. This is a function, and then you could run the function and make it display the time. Replit account. You could just create new REPL and then make sure this is HTML, CSS, JavaScript. And then we can name this, let's just name this demo. I'm gonna create the replit. Are you okay, so these are our tags. We have things like head, meta, link. And then let's go to these demos. Okay, so you could put this on the bottom. I like to always put it on the top, but I'll show you how you can do that later. And so this file, all the elements get added from top to bottom, right? And the head tag, anything that's within the head tag, it's not going to be displayed on your website except the title, which is going to be this one. And that's going to be displayed on the tab, right? and the body is what actually gets displayed on your website. And so we have some important tags, and I'll show you how they get displayed on the website. See, we have hello. So if I decided to put this in head, it wouldn't pop up because nothing on head gets displayed. Okay, never mind. Okay, but you don't want to put anything in head. Head is basically what for all your imports and stuff like that, and the body is what gets displayed in your website, right? And so we have some common tags here. Here's div, image. What else do we use in that? Okay, so these are some commonly used tags. Div is used a lot. Actually, I guess I should show you something first. So in HTML, all the elements, which is stuff like div, is in a box, right? This layout for every element, they're all boxes, if that makes any sense. And I'll show you what I mean. I'll set this to ID, right? And I'll show you what ID means later as well. But let's just set this. Okay. You don't have to worry about what I'm doing. I'm just trying to show you that these are rectangles. And all right. So can you see that? These are all rectangles. It doesn't matter what the dimensions are. They'd always be rectangles. And so you have to keep that in mind. And elements like to be added from top to bottom, where they kind of stack up on top of each other. They very rarely want to go from left to right. And so if you want to do that, you'd have to do that with a CSS file. But I'll show you what a couple of these common image tags do. This is a paragraph tab. And so you could just write a bunch of things in here and it would get displayed. All right, let me actually get rid of this box. All right, so we have a bunch of text that gets displayed. The image tag is pretty cool because you could actually get images from other websites. So let's say I were to want to get an image of a bagel, right? Go to images, get this photo right here. It doesn't look very appetizing, but and if we were to get this photo and then put it into here, we would see, wow, that's very big. But yeah, we see the photo of the bagel. And it's very large, so if you want to edit the size of that, you're gonna have to do that on the CSS file. We got the link. Hang on 1 second. I'm sorry. Okay. So now we're gonna work on inspecting element, now that we know what those basic tags are. Actually, wait, I haven't showed you all the tags yet. Let me finish sharing those really quick. And then so now that we got the image tag out of the way, actually I didn't show you what the source tag does. The source tag is really important, or the source, just the source. Yeah, you need the source for the image, right? Now this could be a local file that's saved on your hosting service or your desktop. It's basically, it could either be the folder that contains all these three files, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript files, or it could be a URL. Either, they both work, right? Now we have the link. The link is really important because it's right here. Link and script. I don't know if this works here. Okay, it works. These are really important because the link is to import your CSS file. And we could see that in the link right here. And then the script allows you to import your JavaScript file. And then these are the headers. Now the headers are important because your website kind of gets ranked on your headers as well. Ranking means like how high up your website is on like the Google results, right? And then so if we have a header of hello, and then so there's headers 1 through 6, and they basically work like that. Now header 1 is bigger than header 6, and header 1 is usually reserved for the title of your website. And then we have span, which is basically like another text box. I'll show you that right here. Okay. All right, now let's do the inspect element. I think that'd be good. All right, so I'm gonna send you guys the link for the inspect element. So we have the weather website, and we have this website. Oh, they're both the same site, okay. I'll send it to you guys in the chat. I don't know if I can get this thing to work. I don't know why it's not showing up for me. Oh, here we go. Okay. So here's the link to the weather, and then here's a link to the Disney website. And so we're gonna work on the weather website first, and it's gonna be pretty cool. So once you guys open that all up, we'll get started. Okay, so this website right here, it runs on the same 3 files that I mentioned before: HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And so whatever's being displayed on the website that you can see right now, it's because of HTML and CSS for styling. And so that means that whatever you edit will also be an edit to the HTML file, right? Which in turn edits what it displays. And so now when we inspect element on certain elements of the page, we can kind of mess around with what a website displays. And you might have done this for, I don't know, your grades to show off or something. But in case you don't know, we'll go over it and we'll kind of go over how it works. And so let's say I want to change the weather to 400 degrees, right? We see a span here, which is what I kind of showed you on the replit right here, the span, right? And we know that it's a text container. And so we could change this to be something like 400, and then it gets displayed, right? Because we're editing the HTML file, which edits what we see on the website, right? Sorry about that. And then, so let's say we want to change this video or this image. Is this a video? Oh, it's an image. Okay, let's say I want to change this to the bagel image, right? Let's see. Let's look for that bagel image again. Let's say I get the same image right here. An image, you need to copy this. Whoa. Okay. Okay, so we see the source. It's what I showed you before. The source is really important because it's where your file is going to be sourced from. I'm not sure why this isn't working, but I'll show you an example of that on another website. So yeah, I mean, you could edit basically any text or any image on the site. You could say connect with them. I don't know. And then let's see if we could do something fun with this. Are you guys all following along, by the way? I don't know if you guys are, but it's a good idea too. So now let's move over to the Disney site. And then, so let's try and change this image to the bagel website. I'm pretty sure this will work. Let's move over here. Okay, span here is the image source. Okay, there we go. How do you guys like that? Oh wait. Okay. Wait, hold up. That was actually really cool. I like that. Let's leave it at that. Okay, so now now we have a bagel. So we changed the image using the image tag, right? The is an image tag. And then if we want to change this to this one's actually pretty cool because when you click stream now, it takes you to another website, right? Let's see if we could change that to do something else. Oh, okay. So an A tag is basically saying, move me to this page or something like that, right? So it's basically telling you to move to another page. It's like an action, you could say. If we want to change this to move to google.com, we could very much do that. Let me see right now. Oops. Okay. Let's change this to google.com, right? If we click it now, okay, I think we're going to need HTTPS. Okay, so now when we click this, it's going to take us to Google. And so it just shows you like, you could literally edit anything on whatever website, but it only shows up for you. And the reason why that is because you're on the client side. The server is set up so that it doesn't take changes that you make on the website. So, I mean, if that was the case, if we were allowed to make changes on whatever website we wanted, that would be a huge security issue. Let's see my chats. Do you guys have any questions so far? You did not get the link. Okay, you found it. Okay. I don't know if we're supposed to go back yet. Do you guys follow along? Okay. Yes.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Okay. Sounds good. Um, we're now gonna spend a couple more minutes on the Replit, and then we'll head over and watch this last video. Okay, so I'll kind of show you a quick demo of JavaScript and CSS. So let's say I have a button here. Now button's also a tag, and I say click me, right? You'll have a button called click me. Now if I give this an ID, and an ID is basically a way for an element to be identified, right? So if I had 1,000 button elements, if I just say, hey, when I click a button, do this or that, because you can't do that because you don't know what button you're talking about, right? It could be buttons for different functions. And so we would give these IDs a unique name, right? So we'd say color button, right? Now, whatever ID you give to any element here, it automatically allows you to retrieve it from the JavaScript file and the CSS file. You could see an example of the CSS one right here when it says hashtag box. Oh, okay, I think we are done for the day. But yeah, I hope you guys learned something. I think they're closing the breakout rooms now. But in the meantime, I guess I could finish this up. So we have okay, well, I guess we have to go now. All right, thanks guys.